Hello, Scream Demons, and welcome to the Screams from the Basement podcast with Sam and Casey. I am one of your creepy co-hosts. I am Casey.
And I'm Sam the Damned, and let's get screaming.
Let's get screaming with today's guest, who is no stranger to lurking around in basements, whether that be as the Nightmare Mom, a rotting corpse, or as an evil entity. Today's guest can be seen in modern horror classics like Parker Finn's Smile, Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities, and the upcoming What's Happened to Doris.
Today's guest is none other than screen actor, creature actor, and stage actor Kevin Keppy, whose onstage career began in a stage adaptation of Dracula, leading to a lifetime of monsters and mayhem. Please welcome to the basement, Kevin Keppy. Kevin, thanks for being on the show. We're so glad to have you.
Oh, thank you, Sam. Thank you, Casey. I really appreciate you having me. It's a great opportunity. Thank you.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we gotta ask the first question we have right away. How do you become a creature actor? Like we mentioned at the top, you played Dracula very, very early on your stage career. How does that transition into on-screen playing all these creatures and monsters and different types of characters? How does that transition happen?
You know, honestly, I can probably get into like a lot of metaphysical, philosophical things regarding it. As in, one takes one step in life, and that leads to another step, and another step, and another step, and that's exactly what happened to me. So, started doing stage acting in 2008 with Bram Stoker's Dracula, which is actually on my wall right there. That was the program from the show, and
nice.
To play multiple vampires in that one. Dead Sea Captain, my best friend Nathan Shelton, he directed it, and he was amazing. So, but doing that show, it really inspired me, and it really lit a fire under me, letting me know that I really enjoyed doing this kind of work. You know, I loved being just creature characters and all that different stuff. But doing that show with just being vampire roles and Dracula's assistant in one scene where I was stealing the show, and so Nathan would have me like enter stage right even further and stay on that side because I was like upstaging Dracula. So hearing the response from the audience, like, oh, and then when I was a Dead Sea Captain, they thought I was like a dummy Harker, and Dracula left the stage, and I was there on stage at the ship's wheel, eyes open, mouth open for 2+ minutes with a heavy fog, lightning hits, thunder hits, and I move my body, like jolt it down, and every show or most shows, the audience gasped when they saw that. So, oh boy, it really encouraged me to like dive further into this. I enjoyed those kind of roles ever since I saw Creature from the Black Lagoon when I was 2 years old on black and white TV, you know, and the monsters and all that stuff. So I've always loved the creepy things. But I just continued doing things. But for me in my career, I was doing, my friend Nathan and I, we also did a web series called Shadowbound, which is also on my wall right there. We're turning that into a movie. And so I was at a convention, a Star Trek convention in Springfield, Missouri, and they're having a makeup face-off. And I was Nathan, Mike Strain, and also RJ Hattie, who was on Face Off, and I think he won one of the seasons. But anyways, I sat for RJ. We won the makeup, the contest or whatever. And he told me, he said that he's like, if you ever think about going to LA or Hollywood, you know, contact the shops. I think you do really well there. Yeah, your facial structure is really could be really used really well for prosthetics, and also my size, my height. And so he really let me know that my physique would be really good for creature roles. So that's besides me just doing the acting part and loving the plays and the stories. So that's how my journey got started in a brief sense for that.
Nice. Yeah. So you talking about playing like the Dead Sea Captain, it just like
Yes.
it brought back this memory of a stage production that I was in with my my late father-in-law who he played a corpse for like most of the runtime. Like he dies in like act 1 and then is dead, and it was almost like a Weekend at Bernie's type thing, and I cannot remember the play, but I remember being in that and thinking he has the hardest job on stage because he has to convince people that he is dead. And that that's tough to do when you're a living person. So like, do you find that more challenging to play something like a corpse than like a creature that actually has life and movement?
Absolutely, because it's often in those kind of characters, the people are looking precisely, particularly to see, they know you're a real person or whatever, or maybe they don't, but they're looking to see if you are real or if you are fake. And so they're highly attuned. They're looking for little micro expressions, a little blinking, like if you're a dead corpse on a gurney table or something like that. They're looking, and they look to see if the chest rises or lowers for breathing. And so, but if you can convince them that if you're not breathing in and out, or you're not moving, if you can convince them, then you're selling the magic, the fantasy, and that is one of the most challenging things for a lot of the roles that I do in those kind of regards.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Now, Kevin, you mentioned some of your earliest monsters and creatures that you've seen. The monsters, Creature from the Black Lagoon. At what point did you realize that's a human person, that's a human being doing that? I want to do that. What is that moment that you had where you're like, I want to be that guy?
I don't think it really happened for me, honestly. And I remember seeing, when I saw the Creature from the Black Lagoon, I thought it was a real thing. I figured it might be like something or whatever, but I was like 2 or 3. I think I was probably 2. But I thought it was a real thing, and I thought it was super neat and super cool. And even when I did like Dracula, and my first zombie movie was a film called Redneck Carnage by Jono, my friend Jono Z, and I just really enjoyed playing those characters. So it's not necessarily, I thought in my mind that I wanted to play those kind of roles. I wanted to be this. I just wanted to be these mysterious, ethereal beings, and to be able to express myself is a way for me to be able to express myself for the things I love and have absorbed through my time. Fun, like seeing like the Monster Squad, and lots of different things that for different characters, and of course, American Werewolf in Paris and London, and anyways, so it's just been a natural development for me. So I didn't move to LA to necessarily do. To be this, but I moved to LA, and I moved to LA in early 2019 to further my career, and to further this development of discovering characters in the world through my voice, my body, my movements, my energy, and just having fun. It's just about having fun.
Yeah. One of like those kind of maybe breakout movie roles for you was in Smile, the Parker Finn Smile,
Yes.
Which
Yes.
that movie stuck with me for so long. Like that movie messed me up for like a week after I watched it. It was just, it was one of those movies that just like hollowed me out. I was like, oh my God. But like, I remember the hype around that movie being like, it was originally going to go to streaming, and then it became this theatrical release, and then it just blew up at the box office. What was that?
Mm-hmm.
What was that experience like? Like doing a movie that you're like, well, it's gonna, go to a streamer, and then a year later, it's like the biggest movie in America. Like, what was that journey like?
Boy, yeah, that's very true. It's very unique. Yeah, being there on set for that, you don't know really on set for anywhere. You don't necessarily know what's going to happen to it, and how it's going to even look in the end, because we don't know, especially as actors. But with that one particularly, it was very fun to see it blow up, and I really didn't know myself until I went to the LA premiere screening at the Aero Theater in Santa Monica. I had one screening in Austin, I think, the previous week or whatever, maybe through Fantastic Fest or something. But when I was there at the screening at the Aero, and I just really wanted to see it and be able to see Parker and some of my and other people that I worked with in the crew, and watched the film, and it was so good. And I remember seeing Parker upstairs right afterward, and he was like, "So what do you think about it?" And so it was awesome, and the music was awesome. Everything came together. And then when I walked out into the lobby, into outside, And then people were very excited out there. They're wanting a bunch of things signed. I'm like, oh, this is a bigger deal now, you know? And that's when I knew that it was definitely going to be more well received at that point in time. Because, you know, but who knows with how these things go. And just like with Curry Barker with an obsession, you know, like
Yeah.
how that has transitioned and developed, and you know what he made that movie for, and how much is made now, and how incredibly good it is, you know. And it's just awesome what movies can do, and especially for horror, just to break through and to really resonate with people. I think it's awesome.
Yeah. Absolutely. Agreed.
Yeah, and early you mentioned why you moved out to LA to play these cool
Yes.
characters, to be these, bring your mannerisms into these characters. And I mean, obviously horror fans, like, we love our monsters. We adore them. They're kind of everything to us. They're the most fascinating characters. And one of the reasons I want to bring this up is because you worked on Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. Love that show. That show is incredible. But my favorite episode is The Viewing. It is my
Oh, cool.
favorite one. I love it so much. Can you kind of walk us through the process of being cast in that show and then portraying, you know, that character in it, that creature, that character in the Panos Cosmatos episode?
Yeah, Casey, great question. So that was actually the first episode that I was brought into. It was through working on that episode is how I got to work with Mike Hill on the follow-up episode for Graveyard Rats, which was, I think, episode 2. So that first one, The Viewing, I think episode 7, Spectral Motion, they're an amazing special effects, makeup effects shop in Burbank, Glendale, technically, and they reached out to me. I've worked with them previously on a show called The Quest on Disney Plus, and love working with those guys. They're top-notch quality pros, super kind, friendly, and they know how to build amazing monsters, creatures, and everything. So they reached out to me, and this was during COVID still, all this stuff, and they just they asked me like, how tall are you? You know, and that's sometimes the main question, you know. Can you, mostly I think because they needed me to fit a body cast that they had. I only had a life cast from my bust up, my shoulders up, but I didn't have a body cast. And so there was, as you know, The Viewing, that creature, the Blob Man is the name of the character, was a full body thing, a full creature suit, all that stuff. So on that one, Spectral Motion got me involved, and they got me plugged into to the production. Excuse me. And they started building the suit there by several amazing makeup artists, sculptors, and I got to see it, go in for makeup tests, try that on. It was, and it still is the biggest suit I've ever had to wear, and also the most, the one I have been less me than I can be. In that sense, I had long fingers, and there had like triggers in the fingers, so I had like, it's like having those little robots as a kid or something, and moves things over here. So it was really cool. The guys they have going on, so I was able to articulate the fingers of the character because I had really long arms. And of course I had his mask on that zipped up in the back. I can only see through like little holes, like little tunnels. And so it was kind of disconcerting a little bit because if you're not used to living like that, you know. And then they put this I always forget the name of the term, but some kind of silicone-like jelly thing that went over top of all that stuff. I think initially they're not going to have any holes open in this silicone jelly thing over me. But I think Drew is my I think it was Drew that was my my creature handler for the day. He's like he said Kevin needs to breathe, so visual effects will have to put this in after the fact, and he cut me a hole here so I can actually breathe, and then he cut little holes open my eyes too so I can actually see through the thing, and it's very nice. That one was a little bit challenging. It was hot outside. I think it was September, October, but it was warm. We shot that in Toronto, and it was a warm suit. But it was really nice. It was great working with Panos and with Spectral Motion for that one, and my creature handler, I think it was True. Forgive me if I'm wrong. But he was awesome. He was there for me. A lot of these things, especially if an actor person is in a suit, where it's very compromising to their ability to see, talk, breathe, speak, eat. The creature, your handler there is there to help you out and to speak for you and be there. So he was so awesome. And that one was definitely challenging. For instance, the first AD, one of my last shots, she said, "Okay, the sun is there. There's a field there. Just walk straight ahead and go through the grass." And I'm walking, and I'm like walking. I can't really see this little pathy thing they want me to walk on, and I'm walking off. And they're like, "Kevin, reset. Walk straight. Do you see that path? Walk toward it." I'm like, "Okay." And I started walking, and I can't see anything, man, because like I get these little holes, and so they didn't really understand that I couldn't hear very well because of this stuff going on. I couldn't speak because I got these huge dentures in my mouth, and I couldn't see very well, and so it's very challenging. And so that was a very challenging character to do, but I'm so glad it was done so well, and it looked incredible. And that's the thing, man. And everybody, these creature makeups and suits and all that stuff, whatever you see on the screen, it is so much, I would say, better looking and incredibly detailed in real life. Like the artists that work on these things are just impeccably awesome. They spend so much time, so many years of their professional career honing their craft. And unfortunately, they don't always get to, the audience doesn't always get to see that fine detail, especially if they put like visual effects smothered on it,
Yeah.
But that one was really nice. And that, thankfully, I loved working with the Toronto crew there. And like I said, they brought me up to work with Mike Hill on Graveyard Rats. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a mutual friend in Nick Simon,
Yes.
who you've recently worked with, and I know the movie's not out yet, so you probably can't talk too much about it. But we told him that we were talking to you, and he was like, "You got to ask Kevin about Doris. Like, please ask him about Doris." So, you've recently actually just seen you've seen the movie, but you worked on What Happened to Doris with our friend Nick Simon and Heather Graham. And Mimi Rogers, like what was that experience like, getting to play the entity and working on such a, from what we've seen so far, pretty creepy supernatural kind of story?
Absolutely. And so this is a movie that was originally done. A different movie is based on the story that I think came out in 1990 called The Entity. You can't find it anywhere. It's not on streaming. Evidently the rights are, I think, up in the air. Nobody owns it, or everybody owns it. I don't know. But you can find a DVD of it on Amazon. I heard it's creepy. I heard it's freaky. And it's based on a real life, one of the scariest haunting encounters in the U.S. or maybe worldwide. Who knows? I think in 1974 here in Culver City, in L.A. and California. And so it's a real story. It's a real deal. And so that was a very unique and interesting thing for me to get into, is because, a lot of the characters I played have been fantastical, fictional, maybe brand new. I can create new characters on stage or whatever, but this is a real thing, and it wasn't a character. It wasn't Abraham Lincoln. It wasn't Indiana Jones, a made up thing. It was an entity. And so I get to play that. And so how do you play this thing? You read the script, you make choices, you figure things out, you talk to your makeup artists. I got to work with two amazing makeup artists, have to talk about them, Roxy McDaniel and Ashley Stansberry, two good friends of mine. And their makeup on me was amazing. And everybody will see. It's also very stripped down makeup. It's not full of prosthetics and horns and tails and wings. So it's tangible. And anyways, so I had to really, for that character, I had to find out, what is this character? As an actor, you find out you have to discover in the script who is this character, what do they fear, what do they need, what do they want, what must they have. And so those are the things I've really had to find for this character as well. It's called Mr. Who's It is the name of the character. So it's challenging but also really fun because you want to be authentic to the experience, the character, what it wants, and it's not human. Or is it? I played it my own different way, and of course the audiences will find out or discern what they think it is. So, anyways, it was an amazing project to work on, and believe it or not, I live in Van Nuys here in Los Angeles, California, and it literally shot right down my street and right down like another couple hundred feet from my house, and so it took me 3 minutes to walk the set.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So no flying to Toronto, Brooklyn, or any of that stuff. So really awesome. But it was such an
amazing. Walks
amazing.
to work, you can't beat that. You just can't.
I know the birds were singing. I didn't have to get on the 405. None of that jazz. It was an amazing experience. I loved working with Nick Simon. Mario Torres was also involved as well. He's an amazing creature designer, sculptor, and I can talk a lot more about this film. And I think Nick said I have full rights to talk whatever I want to about it. However, I also want to be very careful.
Yeah.
And but Nick was great, and it was a great set. And I did see it today. We had an industry screening for it, a little private screening for that today with the cast crew and with some of Nick's friends to get some feedback and whatnot. I know they want to get some theatrical distribution for it, which I think after seeing it today, I really, really hope that it does go to theater screens myself, because not only does it stand up for the right to be on a theater screen nationally and internationally, but that I think is a really fun movie, good movie, moving movie to experience with an audience. I think in theaters, whether it's a theater play or a movie theater, I think it's like horror and comedy are amazing to see with audiences, other fellow audiences, seeing it, because you laugh, you cry, you scream. Some girls scream today, like on House Right. And I'm just like,
that was just Nick. That was Nick.
Might have been, yeah. So that's why I love doing these that's why I love doing theater. I love doing film, and I love doing horror comedy, or really heavy drama, because you get an emotional, reactive response from the audience. You move them, and I feel that's what Happened to Doris has to offer.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I was already excited. You've just made me even more so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So excited to watch this. We have nothing but nice things to say about Nick. He is the best, and such an underrated filmmaker. And so we're so excited to finally watch this later this year, we're hoping. So, Kevin,
Absolutely.
we have two last questions. We have one that we'll leave you off with here in just a second, but I'm going to add one more in here. Is there a character that you haven't played yet where you're just like wanting to sink your teeth into that character? Whether it's a creature, whether it's a type of character, a type of movie, what's something you've never done yet where you're like, that's one thing I need to do?
That's a popular question, and it's also a good question. So I have always wanted to play Count Orlok Nosferatu, but it seems like everybody under the sun these days is playing Nosferatu. So, but that's the thing, is that with all the different characters I've played for on stage and the screen, I've played so many vampires in my life, mostly on stage, but I've never played one on screen until I did a film called Monster Medicine, where I play a vampire doctor. Veronica Felicity Johnson did that one. Great character. But I do want to, that's still in festivals, by the way. But I do want to play a more vampiric character, where I can really sink my teeth into things. Something that is fantastical or close, like Interview the Vampire close, something like that. got the vampire in me, man. You know, so
Yeah.
that's just something I have to do. But also a werewolf. I haven't done a werewolf yet. And someone approached me with a script a year or two ago, and it was an amazing werewolf character, so gnarly of a script. And nothing has come of that yet. So, but that's another character that I would just like to play, you know.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, we'd love to see you in either one of those. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
All right, so last question then. This is the one we leave everybody off with. We're going to ask you, it's the hardest question we ask every interview. We got to know, what is the ultimate Kevin Keppy double feature? This includes one of your own movies and a movie that helped shape your cinematic taste. You got to pick one of your own and one that you love. What are the two movies you're pairing together for a movie night in the theaters for a double feature?
Oh boy. Okay. Well, definitely my biggest movie I've done. People do know it's Smile, and I'm super grateful for that movie, and it really allowed me to express myself, and you can see my face in it. So definitely that one that people know. And oh boy, guys, I'm really bad with these things. But does it have to be like Smile or just something?
Oh,
Yeah.
it could be a total left field thing. We've made double features.
You could pick a
that make no
rom-com
sense.
afterwards if you want. That's A-okay with us.
Oh
Yeah.
boy,
And
guys.
after Smile, you might need one.
Let's see here as I'm looking on my shelf here for any kind of hints. Gosh, you put me on the spot. So a movie that's really informed me. Oh gosh. Granted, this is hard. Oh my gosh. So, I mean, one of my favorite movies, of course, is The Thing. The Thing is something that it's not like Smile at all, in a sense, but The Thing is. This kind of just a generalized thing. The Thing is, of course, a monster and entity people don't know, and they have to figure out what it is. And it's been so moving to me for a long time. The practical effects and everything in it are just amazing. They still hold up in time, and it's so inspiring to filmmakers, I think makeup artists, and also to creature actors to do those kind of things. So I think it's a high quality movie, and it's just amazing. But of course, there's a lot of other movies that I've been really inspired by as a person, as a character, as an actor.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, The Thing is The Thing. Like,
One of the greatest horror
like
movies
it.
of all time. Say less.
Yes.
Yeah, we love The Thing.
Absolutely, yeah. Indeed. Oh God! And when we end this conversation, I'm gonna be like, I should have said that one.
We have that every time. We
Yep.
have that
Yes.
every time. They're like, "Oh, well, I should have said this one instead."
Yep.
I know.
That's the
I know.
fun part of it. That's the fun part of it. But
That's true.
Kevin, this has been awesome. This has been
It has
incredible. Where can people find you online? And do you have any other projects coming up that you'd like to shout out here at the end?
Absolutely. I do have a website, kevinkeppy.com, and also all my stuff on Instagram. So I have just at Kevin Keppy is my handle. I also have a Threads account as well. So I post most of my stuff on my Instagram page for what's going on with all these different things and all that stuff. So other things I have coming up, of course, in Nick Simon's film coming up, hopefully later this year. Some other things I'm really looking forward to as well. Another film hopefully will be coming out in theaters, I hope. And which is one I recently did a couple months ago with an amazing director. Had a great time. It looks super awesome because I worked with an amazing makeup artist. And so I'm super excited about that one. And so that one has been picked up by a distributor, so that most likely will be released theatrically. And
yeah.
but a lot of other things too coming out down the pipeline, and which is great. And some things coming up later this year. A movie I'm working on called Trash Queen. I'll be coming up. I'll be going to Seattle for that one. We're shooting outside Seattle in the woods for that, and that'll be good. And so that's gonna be a fun feature. Play a space alien. It's a horror comedy, so that'll be fun. But a little bit this and that, and I just enjoy working with all the filmmakers and makeup artists, and LA is not the easiest place to live in with the industry as it is, and but working with the amazing creative community that's here is super rewarding, and I'm always just super grateful. Yeah.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.